What were you in prison for in Texas?
For DWI.
Okay, and you've been arrested, am I correct that you've been arrested 15 times for driving while intoxicated?
I thought it was 13, but yes, way too many.
Okay, 13, 15, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, I'm glad Miss Jackson has this case, but I know Mr. Mirabella would have been chomping at the bits for this one. We're taking a blast to the past to 2022. The parole board is still using a potato for a microphone, and the air condition at the prison is making noise. So sorry about the audible. I tried to fix it, but couldn't get it there. Anyways, let's jump in, and I'll unpack it with whatever details I have at the end.
All right, good morning.
Yeah.
Hey, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear us?
You can, all right. You are Ms. Jackson?
Sam,
All right, go ahead, ma'am. Tell us your name and DOC number, please.
Jackie Renee Jackson, and my DOC number is 103629.
Right, Ms. Jackson, my name is Cheryl Renatza. Seated to my left is Mr. Alvin Roche, and to my right is Ms. Bonnie Jackson. I'm going to read some information into the record, ask you to confirm it or verify it for us, and then Ms. Bonnie Jackson will be asking you some questions. Once we're finished with the questions, we'll hear from the facility staff, and at the end, you'll be allowed to make a statement if you'd like before we vote.
Thank you.
All right. So you're Jackie R. Jackson, DOC number 103629. You are classified as a fifth felony offender. You were sentenced, your recent sentencing was October 4th, 2021, possession of meth and distribution of meth. You're currently serving a total sentence of 5 years. You have a parole eligibility date, which is May 23rd. Your good time date is November 23rd, with your full term date, February 24th, 2026. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good morning, Ms. Jackson. I'm going to ask you some questions. Are you having any trouble hearing?
It's kind of breaking in and out, but
Okay, well,
I'm understanding you.
all right. You are serving a 5-year sentence because you were revoked on a distribution of meth charge. Is that correct? You are on probation for distribution of meth, and then you got an arrest for possession of meth, and you ended up getting your probation revoked. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you have been incarcerated for approximately 13 months. Is that correct?
Yeah, 14. The 23rd will be tomorrow. The 28th of this month will be 14.
13 or 14 months.
Yes, ma'am.
It's my understanding that since being incarcerated, you have not enrolled in or participated in any kind of rehabilitation programs. Is that correct?
That's correct, but that is not at my. I have plenty of paperwork where I've written to
I understand, but
trying to get into classes.
But you've actually not had any kind of substance abuse treatment or any kind of programs since you've been incarcerated. Is that correct?
Not this time. I have prior to this sentence, but not at this sentence.
And how long ago did you have substance abuse treatment in jail?
In 2009, when I left TDCJ, I had 28 certificates.
But yet you went right back to the same kind of behavior.
Yes, ma'am. The impact of those tools burned down to our desire and our responsibility, because you can have every tool under the sun, but until you have the responsibility and the desire to reach in to grab that tool and apply it to that situation, for me, that's where I dropped the ball. That's where I've taken cognitive life skills. I've taken parenting classes. I've taken anger management. The last time when I got out in 2019, I put myself in a program to where I would be held accountable. And that's what my plans are when I leave this time. I'm going to CADA. And then after that, I'm following up with Celebrate Recovery meetings at the church right up from my house that are once a week.
Have you done Celebrate Recovery in prison?
No, ma'am, they don't have it.
Have you done it in any previous periods of incarceration? Did you do it when you were in jail before? You've never done Celebrate Recovery?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. In Texas, I did Celebrate Recovery.
You're in
And
prison in Texas?
yes, ma'am. And whenever I got out in 2019, I went to Celebrate Recovery up until the time.
I'm gonna have to ask you to, just give me you answer a question and you don't give me a chance to really ask you what I'm trying to ask you, okay? What were you in prison for in Texas?
For DWI.
Okay, and you've been arrested, am I correct that you've been arrested 15 times for driving while intoxicated?
I thought it was 13, but yes, way too many.
Okay, 13, 15, that's
Yeah.
right. How many times have you been convicted of DWI?
I'm not sure. I know that being here by divine appointment, it seems that I have been able to talk to.
Okay, how many times do you think you've been convicted of DWI?
Probably 8 times.
8 times?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have a really severe addiction, is that correct?
Yeah, it goes back and forth. Yes, it comes and goes. I mean, the alcoholism is always going to be there. My desire and taking responsibility for my actions has come and gone.
Okay. You've had poor supervision history over the course of your life. You've been given opportunities, and for whatever reason, you've not been successful on probation or parole in the past. So what is it today that would make us believe that you would be successful this time?
Because I have been scared straight. I have sit here by divine appointment and talked to some of these ladies that are here for 15, 20 years for DWIs. That would be a death sentence to me. I can't do this anymore. My plans when I get out are to take I want to be a substance abuse counselor.
All right, Ms. Jackson, what is your transition plan? If you were to be granted early release, where do you plan to live?
I plan to live with my mother's after I'm going to CADA first.
Wait, slow down, you're going too fast.
Okay.
You plan to go first?
I plan to go to my mom's for a couple of weeks or until they have a bed open at CADA.
And what's CADA?
It's an in-house rehab program
Where?
in Shreveport.
And where does your mother live?
In Logansport, about 45 miles from Shreveport.
All right. And have you been accepted at this program, or do you just hope to get in?
I spoke to the district office, Natchitoches district office, and spoke to my ex-parole officer, and he is going to help me set it up because they didn't want to violate my probation. They just wanted me to go to CADA, but the district attorney would not come from a felony to a misdemeanor, so they had no choice but to violate me. So I spoke to Russell Haynes from the Natchitoches district office and told him what my plans were to go to CADA and just follow up with Celebrate Recovery. And he said that he could make that happen.
What about employment?
Yes, I have that through Handy RV Restoration Services. I spoke to my mother this morning, and my employer and my mother are supposed to be participating in my hearing.
Or maybe they couldn't get on because of the severe weather. But Ms. Jackson, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Ms. Jones, is there any information you can add?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
All right. Ms. Jackson, is there a statement you'd like to make to us to close it out?
Just that, I know that I don't have any classes that I've taken here, but I have had classes. I've been doing this all my life. Being here has shown me, my mother is 80 years old. Every day that I have missed with her is time that I can't get back. Another DWI would send me to the prison for probably 20 years or more. That would be a death sentence for me. I can't do that. I won't do that. I refuse. I will put myself in programs that will hold me accountable. Getting my substance abuse counselor license will certainly hold me accountable. God has told me that I'm going to bloom where He plants me, so I'm not going to try to go somewhere else and try to have a geographical cure. I'm going to go back, and when I've changed, when people that have known me I live in a small town, when people know that I've changed, then they're going to know that they can too. But coming here has scared me straight. There's no way I'll ever drink again.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. We'll be voting now. We'll start with Ms. Jackson.
All right, Ms. Jackson, I'm glad you're starting to come to terms with your substance abuse disorder. But you have an extensive criminal history of DWI, drug convictions. You have a really poor supervision history. You've been given opportunities, your probations and paroles have been revoked. You haven't had sufficient programs.
This is the only probation I've ever had revoked.
Ms. Jackson, it's our turn to talk.
I'm sorry.
And you're gonna get out. You're gonna get out in November. And I just think you're on the right track, but you need some more work. When you're too anxious to get out, sometimes that's not a good sign, particularly when you're outdated, well in sight. You have to be able to be content with the circumstances in here, because your circumstances in life are going to be much more difficult than they are in prison. It may not seem that way to you now, but life is a lot more difficult on the outside than it is on the inside. And you have to learn how to cope with and live with your circumstances. That's how you live a life of recovery, because you at some point you're going to lose your mom. At some point, some other, bad things are going to happen in your life. And you have to be able to handle those situations. And if you can't handle, staying a few more months in prison, then I don't see how you're going to handle anything else in life. So I want you to settle down, buckle down, keep trying to get into classes, work hard so that you're equipped to stay out fine this time, okay? But my vote today is going to be to deny, but I wish you well, and I hope that this time you succeed.
Can I say something?
Ms. Jackson, we are voting. No?
Okay. I'm sorry.
Ms. Jackson,
Yes, sir.
looking at a criminal career starting with your first arrest in 1981, some 41 years ago. You've had 23 different arrests, 13 to 15 DWIs, 2 negligent homicide, negligent injury, all types of violent arrests. You have a problem. You have an extensive criminal background. You've been convicted of 5 felonies. You have a history of DWIs. Quite frankly, you're a risk to public safety. I don't know whether or not you have murdered anyone, but you've been arrested for negligent homicide. You need to come to terms, and especially with your anger management problem. I agree with Mrs. Jackson completely. You're not ready. And I'm going to vote to deny your request this morning.
Ms. Jackson, and I did concur with my colleagues. I don't believe you're ready. I believe it would be a risk to public safety based on your record. My vote today also is to deny, so your parole's been denied this morning. Good luck to you. And that concludes our business at LTCW. We'll adjourn. It's 11:13. Thanks for coming.
I'm enjoying this parole board setup. Miss Jackson on the left, Mr. O'Shea on the right, and they're swinging left and right. It's just great. Miss Renatza right in the middle, doing her thing. I mean, I look at, prison seems to clearly be the best place for her. Look at what a wreck she is compared to what she is in prison. I mean, what is the rush to get out? Now she got out anyways. Her good time date was in November. It was just like 7 months away or so. And hey, to her credit, she's still out. She has not gotten locked back up. This hearing took place March 22nd, 2022. At the time of this recording of June 27, 2024, we don't have any record of her getting arrested. So I guess let's give her credit where it's due. I didn't buy any of what she was selling during her parole hearing, and neither did the parole board. It was pretty what was it? She wanted to be a counselor. It's like, okay. But hey, she's not revoked and we don't see any arrest records. It doesn't always mean, sometimes these things don't make the news and we can't find it. But going through these older hearings and looking up, and Richard's really pulling all the information on them, a lot of them we do see we do see arrests after them getting released. We don't see anything here. Can you imagine all of those DUIs? I mean, Mr. Mirabella would have had a field day with this one. It's scary. It's just dangerous. It's like you get in a car and you're really getting in a weapon. You're getting in a 3,000 pound plus weapon, and just unbelievable how she might be, harmless looking, but she's as dangerous as anyone with a gun. And kind of makes you wonder how she didn't get a longer sentence, really. But well, with that, I'll let you go.